Willkommen zu einer weiteren Ausgabe eines Talks bei unserem Universal Design Channel 2021. Ich freue mich heute über eine robotische Entwicklung zu sprechen, die von Bear Cover aus Berlin produziert wird. Und damit wir wirklich miteinander sprechen können, wird diese Unterhaltung auf Englisch stattfinden. Um, I'd like to ask Daniel and Ben to introduce themselves, please. And I'm looking forward to see how your robot is working.
Super. So thank you very much for the introduction, Tim, and thank you for allowing us to take part as part of your showcase. Very happy to open the show today, the live stream. So my name is Daniel Flynn. I'm one of the founders of Bear Cover here in Berlin. We develop robots that support nighttime staff in nursing facilities with supervisory activities. So basically, we reduce the workload on the staff in existing nursing facilities. Benjamin?
Yeah, my name is Ben Duffy, and I come from Ireland, same as Dan. And we moved here to Berlin at the start of March. Good timing in some sense. And my background is engineering and computer engineering, computer vision, and I try to make the robot work as well as possible.
Oh, okay. So can you please show us how it works?
Yeah, sure. So Ben is going to probably walk you through here. You can see his screen now, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Here on the bottom left of the screen, you can see the robot's view.
Okay. It's behind you, okay.
So you can see around our kitchen and our living room. Now I'm going to turn the mapping on. So it's going to start mapping with its LiDAR sensor. And here in the middle, you'll start to see the map that it's creating real time. And we see a point cloud information as well.
All right.
So maybe we'll pull back for a second while you're setting this up, and we'll walk you through what this actually means. So on the top of the device, we're using a LiDAR, which is a planar LiDAR. So you may know this technology. It's become quite popular in recent years because of its use in autonomous vehicles. So It basically is a light emitting sensor that's able to give us distance to objects. Yeah, so this one operates on 2D. It also recently included in the most recent iPhones and iPad versions. So LiDAR has a lot of applications in augmented and virtual reality as well. So we're using a commercially available sensor to create this mapping. And then we augment it with a depth camera. So at the moment, we're using an Intel RealSense, which also takes in visual depth information from the environment. And you can see that here manifested as this point cloud. So this is actually showing you the distance to objects inserted into the map. Yeah, so it's a combination of visual information and LiDAR information.
All right, so it's LiDAR, and you were talking of radar because you have to see through walls and doors. How is that working?
Yes, we'll show you a little demo of the radar later on. At the moment, We're not using a radar for navigation purposes because we already have a full sensor stack. We don't necessarily need radar. But I know that Ben is excited to maybe try and navigate with radar just for the fun of it at some stage in the future.
Long term, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're seeing a more and more detailed map of the room you are in.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to set up a patrol now with 2 different points. This will be the first point, and I'm going to set up a second point over close to the window. Okay, and now I'm going to start the patrol. And this should start. And now it'll continuously patrol up and backwards between those 2 points.
Yeah, so why is this interesting? Well, obviously we're limited to our own apartment today, yeah, due to various reasons. You can see that we've moved our table out of the way to make room for this demo. But in a nursing home scenario on a corridor, this is essentially what our devices would do. So upon setup, it will map the corridor that it's active on, the floor that it's active on. And then we would have the staff together with us set waypoints in the application. So you know what I mean? What is the start of the corridor? What's the end of the corridor? Where would you like to patrol to? Where do you turn if there's a turn in the corridor? So where should I go, basically?
Yes.
And then the robot will, the way that we envision it at the moment is that, let's say, in a nursing home, all of the residents are in bed by, let's say, 11:30, 12 o'clock. So you can either schedule the robot to start a patrol or you can activate the patrol from the app. And at that time, when the residents have been put to bed and your night staff are carrying on their normal duties, the robots will leave their chargers and they will enter the corridor and they will walk a patrol. And if they see somebody emerge on the corridor that isn't a staff member, we will then alert the staff. Yeah. So this is the first phase. And then, as you correctly mentioned earlier, we also have a radar array. So if you can imagine a robot going up and down a corridor, in the future it will stop outside the door and run the check, and then continue on to the next door and run the check. So this is really the building block of how it would operate within a nursing facility. And you asked me, you said, what would we show that might be interesting for viewers? And we decided that we would bully robots, much like Boston Dynamics do. So in our case, maybe you can walk Tim through it, or do you want to do it?
I'll just jump straight.
So Ben wants to do the bullying. Yeah. So you can see here that the robot has immediately sensed that Ben has, I'll just step out of the space, that Ben has gotten into the way of its path. You can go again. So you can see once it is recognized, it immediately starts to retreat. And what it's actually doing algorithmically here is replanning a position. I don't know if you can still see Ben's screen, but replanning a position around the obstacle that emerged.
I see.
So this is like really the basics of what you would call human-aware navigation, which is quite important for devices operating in a human context. So one of the interesting things about the research that we're doing at the moment is we asked, how would you like the robots to behave? Yeah, so if I see a person, should I run away? Like, should I leave as quickly as possible? Or should I cower in the corner? Should I stop? So this is one of the exciting things about our development over the next number of months. Like, how exactly should the robot behave around humans to have the best performance in the environment?
Yeah, seems to be a kind of center exercise for the pilots you are planning to do. To get in contact with the people there and ask them what they would like to have. It's a very nice participative approach to make it more suitable and enable for everyone to acknowledge its appearance and get used to it. Especially elder people might be, I don't know what your experience is about that, might be astonished of having something like this running around them.
Yeah, so I think we mentioned before in conversation that we're sort of cheating, yeah? Like, a lot of people think that human-robot interaction is about making the robots as good for humans to interact with as possible. But one, we're active at nighttime, and two, the ideal scenario of our devices is that you never see them, yeah? Like, if a resident never leaves their room at night, they never see a device. So whereas other robots are trying to be, optimal for multiple interactions, we're actually picking, I would say, the path of least resistance. So we expect that we're going to inform residents when we come into a home that these things exist, that they are in operation, what they do, and to basically ignore them. Like, pay no mind. The device doesn't mind what you're doing. It doesn't react to you. And that's where we'll start. There is an interesting, one of the guys that we speak with on this subject on human-robot interaction, often says, don't give it a face, don't put eyes on it, don't make it look like you can talk to it, because as soon as you do anything like that, people interacting with the device will assume that it's intelligent, and then they will expect intelligent responses.
Is there anything more you can show us via video, or is there?
Yes. So the kind of last piece that we didn't go into in detail is radar. So at the moment, we're doing a deep exploration of radar. If you want to walk through, you can walk through before I do the URAP. I can do the video, but we can talk about the research that we're doing at the moment.
So there's a lot of work with radar and vital sign estimation, which includes breathing, detecting where the chest wall expands when you breathe, exhale or inhale.
Yes.
And there's a lot of work with radar detecting heartbeats. But the majority of this work is when the radar is pretty close, a meter, 2 meters, 3 meters away. What we're trying to do is up to 6 meters away and possibly through a door.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of noise, and it's quite difficult to extract the signal through a door, to send the wave through the door and then receive the echo wave all the way back to the door again.
Yeah.
So that makes it quite a challenge, but we have seen MIT do it in 2015, a few other colleges in America, 2015, and I've found that I'm doing a lot of research to just isolate what we need to do.
So you will have to figure it out for your machine to implement that. Okay.
Yeah, well, we are at a point now where we're able to do experimentation in the home. The question is productionizing it, but we believe that it's basically a software problem. You know what I mean? We have our roots as a machine learning and AI team, which we We
Yeah.
try not to say because it's such a buzzword at the moment, but like at the end of the day, it's just signal and processing signal. So we're pretty confident that we will be able to do it in short order. And Ben is continuously adding more obstacles to the radar array that we have already. So whether it's looking through a door or, you know, walking 10 meters away. So we're always testing. Yeah. But I can show you a proof of concept that was made by one of the radar manufacturers that we're using at the moment.
And this is a 24 gigahertz radar, and I have it working from 3.5 meters away with some obstruction.
Okay, great.
We'll just add more and more obstruction as we go along.
Yeah.
So here in the bottom right, you can see the chest displacement, and then the person's not breathing, so then their chest isn't moving. And now we start breathing again, and you see the hills and the valleys, the peaks of the person breathing in and out.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a technique you're adding to your machine, or did you develop that? What we've just seen?
No, so that's a proprietary radar that we are using in deployment.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's only 24 gigahertz. So it's like, the way it works is you have, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, higher gigahertz allow you to transfer more information, lower gigahertz have better penetration. So we basically run our own algorithms at 24 gigahertz with a system that we know works. We see where we can break that system. So when does it stop working at distance and with obstacles? And then we move down to a lower gigahertz range in order to deploy the same algorithms, but detecting with better penetration.
And
to
get the distance and to get through surfaces, I see.
Absolutely, yeah. So the classic example is, let's say, the Wi-Fi range, which is around 2.4 gigahertz, I think.
Yeah.
We may operate somewhere in this band. So obviously, in most homes, you can get Wi-Fi in any room, regardless, yeah? So it's just a matter of having our algorithms also be able to work at that penetration. Yeah.
I see. Okay, great. I'd really like to thank you. If you want to add anything concerning your project, you're welcome. But I think we answered, or you answered, all the questions we had in beforehand, and now know in a quite better way due to your videos in which way it's operating. Thank you very much for today. And
thank you for your
see
time,
you soon.
and all the best to you and the rest of your interviews.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.